Hello everyone, in this video I am going to explain the latest features of Neutralinoids CLI. In this tutorial I will be showing the latest features from Neutralinoids CLI version 9.11. So after installing the latest version, you can always check the version by entering new version command like this. So it will show the version. So in this case I am using the latest version, which is 9.11. So all the features that I am explaining in this video consist in this Neutralinoids version 9.11. So if you install this version, you can try all these features. If you are using older version, you can always upgrade using this command npm install oi and -g for global, because we need to install a new CLI globally. After that you can enter the package name, which is Neutralinoids and /new. So this is the package name. So if you check the documentation, you can find out this command as well. So after entering this one, you can always get the latest version. So in this computer I already installed the latest version. If I enter new version, I will get the latest version information. So let's get started with the latest features. So before getting started, I need to mention something about the latest features. So we recently added some important features like hot module replacement support. So if we are using some kind of a front-end library or framework like React, Angular likewise, then you can use the hot module replacement feature when you are developing Neutralinoids applications. For example, if we are using React, you can use React hot module replacement feature in the development server from Neutralinoids application development environment. So if you run the application using new run, then you can develop as usual using hot module replacement from React. When you change your source files, you can see dynamically those changes inside your Neutralinoids application. So that's kind of important feature we recently added. So we also added some other features, like we added a flag called verbose to run. So if there's an issue with the startup of the Neutralinoids framework, then you can use that flag to identify some issues. So we recently added the new feature to new run to add any kind of CLI parameter to the Neutralinoids process. In other words, you can set any CLI argument to the Neutralinoids process from new run command. For example, you can change the mode, you can enable, disable inspector window. Likewise, you can do many things. So in this tutorial, I will explain those things also. Also, we added a new feature to new create command to get any template from GitHub. So you can download community template. So if a developer created a template, Neutralinoids application template for Angular maybe, then you can download that particular template directly using a new create command. So you can just mention the repository name, then the CLI will download it automatically. So those kind of features are added recently. So in this video we are going to go through all of those latest features. So very first we can get started with the modifications in new create command. I'm going to create this skin, then I'm going to enter new create. So when you are going to create Neutralinoids application, you can create like this. We can mention the application name. So we can provide template like this. So if you don't enter this kind of flag, this kind of option, then it will automatically download the Neutralinoids minimal template, which consists of minimal features, so minimal application of Neutralinoids. So right now I am going to use template. So we recently added this zero template. This consists of a very small application. It consists of a small index HTML file and icon. Those are the only things in this application. It's very basic application, just renders an HTML in a native window. So if you are going to download this particular template, now it is easy. Then you can just copy this part of the repository, the URL, the organization name, and you are going to copy the repository name as well. Then you can copy this particular section and you can paste here after entering template. I'm going to paste it here. Then it is going to download that particular template, right, instead of the minimal template. Likewise, you can download any template. So in this tutorial I will explain how to download the React template also. We created a simple React template for Neutralinojs application, and we added this documentation importantly. We into this how to section we added this using front-end library section page. So in this section we already explained you how you can configure Neutralojs with any front-end framework. So in this tutorial it explains how you can configure Neutralojs with any front-end framework, but in this tutorial it explains how you can use React, but in a similar way you can implement or integrate any front-end library or framework. In similar way you can add Angular application to Neutralojs. Here it explains very first how to initialize projects, then how you are going to configure Neutralojs project to support particular front-end framework. Then after that it is going to explain how you are going to configure the CLI, because when you are entering new run and new update commands, so if you are using any front-end library, then you need to do several tweaks or configurations to get it working properly. So you need to do some configuration in CLI as well. So after that it explains how to configure your front-end application, because you need to add the reference to the Neutralinojs client library to get the native API working properly. So after that it is going to explain how to initialize the client library. You need to, for example, for React applications, the entry point is usually the index.js. So in the entry point you can initialize Neutralojs client library. Then after that finally it explained how to enable hot reloading feature. You just need to add some section to a configuration to support hot reloading. Then in this tutorial I am going to explain those things also. But if you are going to use Neutralojs with any front-end framework, you can check this documentation. Also I think some developers already created some templates as well. We already created the template for React. So likewise you don't need to follow these things always, because if there's any template created by somebody, you can just download it and use it. Right now I already downloaded that zero template. Maybe I can try to run it to check whether it is working fine. So I created my app, so I'm going to run it. So it works, right? So this is the zero template. This contains only HTML file and icon for the application. So you can configure or extend this one with any front-end library or any configuration environment. So that's the modification happened with new create template option. So you can download any community template using this option template. So you can just provide the GitHub organization name, then you can enter /, then you can enter the repository name, right? There's one thing you need to make sure: if you are going to create a new template and publish into GitHub, you need to use the branch as main, right? Because the CLI downloads the repository content using the main branch. So if you are going to create a new template, you can create using whatever the repository name you like, but when you are creating branch, you need to create the main branch. So in the main branch you can store the things that you are going to provide for the developers, right? So in this case I am providing this content via this main branch. So when you are using the new create template, that particular repository, then the CLI is going to download this snapshot from the main branch. So that's how it works. Now we can check the latest features in new run command. Earlier you could use this kind of pattern to change the mode, Neutralojs application mode. So if you're going to enable Chrome mode, you could use like this, but right now it didn't work, because now we extended it to support any CLI argument. So in this case you can use this pattern. You can enter new run and dash dash, then after dash dash you can enter any CLI argument. Then these CLI arguments are directly passed into the Neutralojs application instance. So for example, if you are going to change the mode, you can enter like this. You can enter dash dash space and mode Chrome mode, then the application will run using the Chrome mode, right? So maybe we can try using another CLI argument. Right now I am going to close this one we can try running another CLI argument. I can try to change the application title. As usual, we can enter new run dash dash, and we can enter window title and the title. Here maybe we can use hello. Now it works, right? You can always check the supported internal CLI arguments from this documentation. Under the CLI section, we added all the internal CLI arguments into this page. So here you can see all the supported CLI arguments. Earlier we use window title. Here you can see the window title, and you can enter title like this, but you can use any CLI argument with this new run command and using this pattern, right? Maybe we can try another thing. So if we are going to use this one, so maybe we can try to maximize the screen. So we can use with this one also. So we are going to use two CLI arguments now. First one is we are going to use title, window title, and after that we are going to use window maximize. So when you are going to use the boolean parameters, you can either use like this, it will also work. Also you can use without this true also, because these are just boolean parameters. So window maximize means this automatically the internally the true is added. It is like this internally, but when you are going to use it, you can enter without true. Likewise, you can enter any CLI argument with new run using this latest feature. Also, we added another feature to new run to identify some initialization failures of Neutralinoids application. So when you enter new run, you can enter this feature if you are going to identify some initialization failure. If the application crashes for some reason initially, then you can use this feature to identify that particular error. So I can demonstrate it by doing something, or maybe by setting some invalid parameter to configuration value. Now I am going to edit the application that I created recently. So I am going to edit this configuration file. So as you know, this title accepts string parameter, right? So instead of the correct one, I am going to enter maybe wrong one. Maybe I am going to enter object here. So some kind of object like this. So as you can see, this one will not work because this parameter accept string, but we are going to provide some object here, right? So the JSON binding process will fail if you are going to use like this. So earlier, so if we run new run like this, we couldn't identify the issue, right? Here, because it is only showing the error code. So from the error code, we cannot easily identify what is the issue, right? Because we cannot see the output of this process. So in GitHub repository also we saw some developers are posting some issues, and they are mentioning like the application initialization was failed. Here's the error code, but using the error code we couldn't identify anything, because this is basically the exit code of the process. So this gives a meaning, but we cannot identify the particular error in the Neutralinoids framework. So we added this verbose flag. So as you can see here, if we are getting some error code, we automatically display this line. So if there's an error, we can rerun the application using verbose flag. Then you can identify what is the failure, because the verbose flag typically outputs the standard error stream and standard output stream to the console. So we can try maybe. So here we got an error code because we are using some invalid parameter for this one, but right now here we couldn't notice it, right? Because we didn't get that output from the process. We can run the same command but with the verbose flag, as explained in this message. You can use verbose. So here you can see the process was failed. Then instead of so compared to the previous output, here we can see standard error output and standard output here. So in the standard error we can clearly see some JSON binding error happened. Here we can see there is some JSON binding failure happened, right? But we are going to improve this error message maybe by saying the title is expecting some string, but the object is provided likewise. But however, you can identify what is the issue using these messages, using the verbose flag right now. we added the feature to a new build command as well. So that's for copying the current storage snapshot. Maybe I can demonstrate it by storing something in the storage and generating application bundle. Right now I am going to edit the maybe I can reset this one because I am going to use this application. So I'm going to use the correct input parameter for this title attribute. Now it is okay. So now I am going to run the application using new run. So here I need to get the dev tools window, in other words that inspector window. For that I can use this command. You can mention the enable inspector true in here as well, but the issue is that when you are going to publish your application, you can erase it, right? But if you forget to erase that particular line, that enable inspector true, then your users also will get that inspector window. So instead of putting that thing here, I'm going to use the CLI arguments to enable the inspector window. So you can use this pattern which I explained before, dash dash, then you can enter window enable inspector, right? You don't need to enter through because this automatically puts through internally. Now I got the inspector in here. I'm going to store some value in the storage. So because I'm going to demonstrate how you can copy the storage snapshot using the new feature we added. So I'm going to enter Neutrino storage set data. So I'm going to store something here to the maybe test key. I'm going to store some value, maybe like hello world. So this is stored. We can double check by retrieving it using get data. As you already noticed, these native calls are not working, right? The reason is that I am using the zero template. So in the zero template, there's no JS file. There's no JS file that initialize the client library, right? Right now I am going to initialize the client library. When I initialize the client library, these calls will also work. The reason is that these things are right now kind of cached in memory. So if I enter Neutrino init, I can see the results of these previously entered commands, right? Previously entered native API code. So if I enter Neutralino init, I can see the results of the previous commands, right? So this is for the first one. I stored something. So this is for the second one. I retrieved the value of the test storage key, right? So it works. So I can double check by entering this one, get data. So it works, right? Now I am going to generate an application bundle with this storage snapshot. In other words, I am going to embed this storage data into the application bundle. So we added the new feature for that. Right now I am going to close the application and I am going to generate the application bundle using new build. Also I am going to enable the inspector here because the reason is that when I generate the application bundle, I need to test that storage data, right? So just for testing, I am going to enable inspector window using enable inspector attribute here. So it is set to true. Just going to check whether it works fine. So the configuration worked fine. So now I am going to generate the application bundle using new build. But if you just use new build, it don't copy the storage to the application bundle by default. So to copy the storage snapshot, you can use copy storage. So you can enter this particular option. So if you enter this one, you can see this message. So if you don't enter this particular option, you will not see this message. So if you enter this one, I am seeing this one because I already copied the storage data into the application bundle. Now I am going to verify. So the application is generated into this directory. I am going to cd into that directory. So in the disk directory inside my app directory, I can see all the binaries and the application resource bundle. So I'm going to ls So I can see the my app Linux. So this is the application I generated. Now I'm going to run this application, my app Linux application. Now the application is started with this inspector window. Here I'm going to retrieve data from storage. So earlier I stored data inside the test storage key, right? Now I'm going to fetch data from storage, fetch data from that particular storage key, which is test. So before entering native API function here, I need to initialize the client library, right? Because still I am using the 0 template, which doesn't have any JavaScript file with that initialization function code. So right now I'm going to initialize Neutralinojs client library. Now the client library is initialized, so now I can directly enter Neutrino storage, get data. Here I can provide the storage key, which is test, because I stored the data into test key earlier when we are developing the application. Right now the application in release mode, but we can still get the data because I use copy storage option, right? Now we can verify it. Here we have data, right? As you can see here, when you are generating Neutralinojs application, you can use a copy storage option to copy the current storage snapshot to the application bundle, right? So finally we are going to check about the hot module replacement feature. Like I mentioned before, if you are using any front-end framework like React or Angular to build Neutralinojs applications, you can use the hot module replacement feature, right? So that feature is coming from your front-end framework's development server, but in when you are developing Neutralinojs applications, you can just reuse it. We added the feature to reuse hot module replacement from any front-end framework, right? So now we are going to check it. Now I am going to close this application. Now I am going to cd into the previous directory. So here I created earlier one application, but now I am going to create another application using React template. Like I mentioned before, you can follow this documentation to integrate any front-end framework, but we already created the template. So at the end of this tutorial, we already created the template for React. So this tutorial explains how you can integrate React development environment into Neutralinojs. In other words, how you can build the Neutralinojs applications using React. So here we provided the link to that tutorial source code. The tutorial source code is basically this one, Neutralinojs React template. So if you are going to use this template, you can enter this command. In this command basically fetch this template and create a Neutralinojs application, right? Now I am going to use this command. I'm going to copy it. So here you can use any application name, but let's use this one for now. This one is download this particular template, Neutralinojs React template. Now we can cd into that application we created now. Right now the new run won't work properly because we need to generate Neutralinojs application. So we need to generate the React application. For now, to do that, I am going to cd into the React application source, which is in React src. I am going to cd into that directory. Here I need to enter npm install because I need to download all the dependencies of the React project. Now I downloaded all the dependencies of this React project. I am going to open the source code of this application to verify the configuration. So if you check the neutralino.config.json, here we can see this section, front-end library. So basically this patch file means the main HTML file of your application. If you check that particular HTML file, so we can open this public directory. So this is the main HTML file, index.html. So React maintains the main HTML file here. So if you check the source code, we added this one. In the tutorial we also mentioned you need to add that line if you are using any front-end framework. So if you are using React, you can use this kind of pattern, public URL likewise. So here it is added already because this is a template. So right now I am going to verify those things. So this is added. If you check the configuration, so this fetch file is linked correctly. So this is the development server URL, so it is also correct. React typically starts development server in 3000 port. So those things are correct, right? Now I already downloaded the required dependencies to the React project. Now I can start the development server, right? Right now I am in test app directory. I am going to open another terminal window and cd into React directory, which is React src. But before starting the development server, you need to build this React project once. The reason is that the Neutralinojs hot reloading feature in CLI uses this path, this resources path to find the client library. Client library means the Neutralinoj.js file. So it finds the Neutralinoj.js file from this directory for several reasons. So first we need to include this Neutralinoj.js file there, right? So to do that, you need to build the React application once, right? So if you build the application, React build tools automatically include this file Neutralinoj.js into this build directory, right? Now I am going to enter npm run build to build the React application. So this will basically generate application bundle into a build directory. Now the npm run build command successfully generated the React application. Now I can enter npm start to start the development server. Now this will basically start the React development server. Now the React development server is started, and it already opened this development version of the application here. If we try to enter some native API calls here, it won't work, right? We can verify. Neutrino, maybe we can try to get the app configuration. Maybe we can use with await. So it won't work. The reason is that Neutralinojs process is not started yet, right? So to do that, now I am going to start the Neutralinojs application using new run command. So here I started the development server using this tab. Now I am going to use this tab also. In this tab I am going to start the Neutralinojs application using new run. With new run I am going to use a new feature, new option here. That feature is front end libdev. So this front end libdev means you are going to combine your front end framework libraries development server with Neutralinojs application. So in other words, you are going to load your development server into Neutralinojs application, and in the same time you are going to enable Neutralinojs native API, right? So if I enter like this, Neutralinojs application will start. It will reuse your development server internally. It will basically load this dev URL, and also it is going to patch this main HTML file with the Neutralinojs client library path. As you can see here, it is already patched, right? So this URL is now updated. So this is the path of the Neutralinojs client library. So Neutralinojs server is started already. So this is the Neutralinojs server's URL, and this is the client library path, right? So it internally patch this main HTML file. Now we can use native API calls here, but especially this is the development server of your front-end framework, but also you can use Neutralinojs API as well. We can just verify it by editing something here, something in the application. So this is the application source, right? Maybe first we can check whether the HMR is working fine, hot module replacement. We can try to edit something here. We can enter maybe Neutralinojs. Here it works, right? The HMR is working. Now we are going to check whether the native API is working fine or not. Maybe here, just for testing, I am going to alert global variable. Maybe we can enter in LOS. So it works, right? Here also it works because the file is already patched, the main file. Here also it works, right? Maybe I can enter another native function by opening the development tools window. Here I'm going to reload the application by enabling the inspector window. Now I'm going to rerun the application, going to use this option, the same option I used before, but I'm going to enable the inspector window as well. So I'm going to enter window, enable inspector. Now that hot reloading and stuff will work. So now we have the inspector window as well. So now I'm going to reload the application because I got some error here. Now the application is reloaded. So just to verify the HMR, I'm going to modify something in app.js and going to check whether it is working fine. So just going to enter something. Now it works, right? Now I can enter some native API call in the console. Now I am going to just enter maybe app.getConfig to get the current application configuration. So it works, right? Now in this way you can productively develop Neutralojs applications with any front-end framework. So in this tutorial I already explained how to use React for Neutralojs application development. So as you can see here, you can use hot reloading and you can use the Neutralojs API at the same time. So you can develop your application here. So when you are going to release your application, as usual you can enter new build to build the application. So those are the new features in Neutralojs CLI. So in this video I already explained new features in new create command, new run command, and also new build command. And finally I explained how to use hot module reloading with your favorite front-end framework when you are developing Neutralojs application. So if you are going to create a new template for Neutralojs, maybe with your favorite front-end web framework, you can check this documentation. So it explains how you can create Neutralojs application template, or how you can integrate any front-end framework library with Neutralojs application development environment. So using this approach you can create Neutralojs application templates. Also need to mention that we are discussing new ideas and features of Neutralojs in our Discord channel. You can always join to Neutralojs Discord channel using this button. So if you click this button you can get an invitation to join Neutralojs Discord channel. In there we usually discuss latest features and new ideas to improve Neutralojs. Likewise, in next video I'm going to meet you with a new feature or maybe with a new tutorial. See you in next video.